President Ruto has announced the intended establishment of the National Infrastructure Fund and the National Sovereign Wealth Fund as the primary means to financing his four major national priorities that he estimates will cost 5 trillion shillings. The two funds, the president says, are meant to reduce reliance on foreign borrowing and prevent additional tax burden on citizens. He added that all revenue generated from privatization of state corporations will be channeled into the infrastructure fund, which is expected to attract up to 10 times more investment. And as Melita Oletenges now reports, the president says the Sovereign Wealth Fund will secure a share of national resource earnings for future generations.
President William Ruto's plan to inject 5 trillion to upgrade skills, infrastructure, energy production and agriculture has raised questions on the source of funding for such massive investments. Responding to these concerns during the State of the Nation address, President Ruto explained that the government will fund these projects by creating two distinct vehicles for funds.
We will establish the National Infrastructure Fund, whose architecture will be underpinned by the reforms in the Government-Owned Enterprises Bill passed by this August House that I will sign into law tomorrow.
The president says the establishment of the Infrastructure Fund will re-engineer how the country approaches funding for projects, relying less on borrowing.
It will fulfill our manifesto commitment to rebuild Kenya's infrastructure while reducing reliance on tax and debt.
Proceeds from the privatization of state corporations earmarked to be handed over to private investors will be directed into this fund, ensuring transparent revenue flows, unlike past privatization agreements.
When ownership shifts to the private sector for efficiency, the benefits to the public will not diminish, they will multiply.
Defending the strategy, he noted that similar models have succeeded in developed nations such as Australia's Future Fund, Singapore's Temasek, and the United Arab Emirates Mubadala. He added that a National Sovereign Wealth Fund will also be created.
When we use natural resources or borrow, we must ensure future generations are not left poorer. That is why, alongside the National Infrastructure Fund, we will establish the Sovereign Wealth Fund to give full effect to the constitutional principle of intergenerational equity.
President Ruto warned that the absence of such a fund has denied future generations the benefits of Kenya's depleting natural resources.
History has already warned us. Along our coast region, titanium deposits have been exploited and depleted. And because we lacked a sovereign wealth framework, future generations will inherit nothing from the resources that we got from titanium.
The president said Kenya can no longer depend on loans or burden citizens with more taxes to finance critical infrastructure. Melita Oletenges, Citizen TV.